The Guardian newspaper is upping the ante in its poker standoff, or poker-like standoff anyway, with the British government. First, The Guardian published articles about the UK government as part of Edward Snowden's revelations. Over the weekend, Glenn Greenwald's partner, David Miranda, was detained in the Heathrow airport and questioned using Britain's terror law. Now, the editor of The Guardian, Alan Rusbridger, says that the British government intimidated him in several meetings over the Edward Snowden saga and then gave him an ultimatum: either destroy all of the materials on the matter or shut down their publishing operations. Here's Rusbridger explaining why they decided to destroy the computer hard drives containing some of the secret files.
I also explained to the UK officials we were dealing with that there were other copies already in America and Brazil, so they wouldn't be achieving anything. But once it was obvious that they would be going to law, I would rather destroy the copy than hand it back to them or allow the courts to freeze our reporting.
So what should we make of this? Joining me now is Josh Levy. He's the Internet Campaign Director at Free Press. Josh, thank you so much for joining me. That's my question to you. What should we make of these revelations about the Guardian's hard drives getting destroyed?
We should be very, very worried about it. This is an escalation in the battle between privacy advocates and whistleblowers and folks either in the NSA here in the United States or other intelligence agencies abroad who are fighting for the future of our right to communicate in private. So the fact that British intelligence agencies are actually willing to go as far as what they've done and destroy the hard drives of one of the most prominent newspapers in that country and in the Western world is incredibly frightening, and it really shows what we're up against here. If we believe, as we do here at Free Press and many of our allies do, in people's right to communicate in private and in rolling back the NSA's enormous and overreaching surveillance programs.
It sounds like what you're saying, Josh, is that this goes beyond obviously just this case. But what about beyond The Guardian? Do you think that it affects journalists in general that report on this kind of information, or simply The Guardian as a kind of back and forth between the government and that organization?
I think this affects all journalists everywhere, and it's not just journalists who are reporting on information pertaining to these specific leaks. This is a clear signal that the British intelligence agency was trying to send, and did send, that any kind of dissent or any kind of reporting that goes against what it deems to be its priorities or its own messaging, it's fair game to go after those journalists. And we've seen here in the U.S. The Obama administration going after journalists from the New York Times or from Fox News for perceived leaks. And across the board, at least here and in the UK, there's a clear message of intimidation being sent that if you get too close to home, they're going to go after you. And so I think all journalists everywhere, and in fact, anybody who supports a free press and who supports the freedom for us to find out the truth about what our administration, what our elected officials are doing, anybody who supports those things should be worried about these developments.
I want to read to you a quote from Glenn Greenwald in response to how his partner, David Miranda, was treated by the UK authorities. It says, "I will be far more aggressive in my reporting from now on. I'm going to publish many more documents. I'm going to publish things on England, too. I have many documents on England's spying system. I think they will be sorry for what they did." Now, he is getting a lot of slack, obviously, for those comments from a bunch of different news stations saying that it's revenge journalism. But is it justified for him to go all out on the UK government, especially considering that is arguably what the UK government is doing to him and to his fellow Guardian journalists?
I think this is more than just Greenwald versus the UK government. He's allowed to do what he wants to do. If he has access to information that he believes to be serving the public interest, it's his right to document that information and to write about it. What I'm more concerned about is the ramifications for this beyond Greenwald, and whether or not what we're seeing is a chilling effect on people's freedom to communicate and our right to speak freely.
And finally, We have just about a minute left, but this order allegedly came from the very top, this order to smash these hard drives. UK Prime Minister Daivd Cameron was the person that actually signed off on these. How is that different than if it came from a member of, say, the spy agency there?
Well, it's different in that, of course, it goes to the very top. It's as if, you know, any head of state were signing off on this kind of vengeance against a specific journalistic outfit. And so it's very worrying. I mean, I think that we are approaching an almost totalitarian mindset in the UK and perhaps here in the US as well, where there is absolutely no tolerance for dissent among the press. And they're willing to, as we've seen, go to extraordinary measures to try to tamp it down.
Josh Levy, the Internet Campaign Director at Free Press, thank you so much.
Thank you.